Thank you. And can I thank the Cabinet Secretary for advance sight of his statement, which should have been delivered when STPR2 was released at the end of last year. The document didn't set the heather alight then, and his statement certainly won't have done that today. We've no idea when key routes vital to the economy and to road safety, like the A9, A96, A75 and the A77, will be upgraded. And that's what people want to know. The Cabinet Secretary mentioned the Glasgow Metro system. That may extend to where I live in East Kilbride. I don't think there's a cat and hell's chance of it ever happening, but if my natural cynicism is misplaced and I'm wrong, then what is the timescale? The Cabinet Secretary mentions further investigation of potential fixed-link connections at various islands. Now, if locals want that, is he today committing to such links? And finally, on rural transport, rural residents tell me that bus operators are shifting their older diesel buses from city routes to rural routes. So what reassurance can the Cabinet Secretary give that electrification of buses will extend to all areas?
Cabinet Secretary.
Sign off, so let me try to deal with a couple of these issues. And as the member will recognise, he made reference to four areas of the trunk road network: the A9, the A96, the A75 and the A77. He may not be aware, but I would have thought, as the transport spokesperson for the Conservative Party, is that the A9 and A96 are not within scope of STPR2 because it's part of the previous STPR2 process. But I'm sure, having pointed that out to the member, he will recognise that
members, we need to listen to the Cabinet Secretary.
That we're already carrying out the review of the A96. But I'm sure the member will eventually get a grip of his brief in these matters. In relation to the Glasgow Metro and the timescale, it will come as a matter of surprise to the member that actually the leadership team, who have already been brought together to look at developing the plan for the Glasgow Metro, are already taking that work forward. And further work will be set out over the course of creating the business case for the Metro over the course of this year. So if the member is sceptical to be taken forward, it may come as a surprise to him that some of that work has already been undertaken by the leadership group, which has been chaired by Transport Scotland. And in relation to the island fixed links, we've set out within STPR2, which I'm sure the member has taken the time to read, it says that we will take forward further investigations in looking at the fixed links options within the islands that have been referred to, and to consider that against alternative options such as the existing ferry links and the benefits it would have to public transport and the cost to the taxpayer. And on his final point in relation to older buses, I recognise the point which the member is making, because much of the electrification we have saw in terms of the bus network has largely happened within our large urban areas. As it stands, although in Aberdeenshire there has been an expansion of, I believe, if I recall correctly, the stagecoach network into some of the rural areas. And I do expect, as we see further rollout and support of the decarbonisation of the bus network, more of that to move out into our more rural areas as well. But it will be critical that we have the right grid infrastructure to support what will be the necessary electrification to support greater use of electric buses within our rural areas, including within the member's